What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy BrianDaddy coming at you with another video. Today we have Mythic Plus for Shadowmoon Burial Grounds. This is originally a Draenor dungeon, so some people might be, familiar with it, but I'm going to give you a little guide to some of the trash and the 4 bosses in this dungeon. So before you head to Sadana Bloodfury, there are going to be these Shadowmoon Bone Menders. They're the most dangerous caster. You're going to want to interrupt Shadow Mend at all times and stop as many shadow bolts as you can. And then once you head to this first little void spawn here, you're going to want to make sure you watch out for the void pulse cast. You can't outrange it, but you can LOS it. We decided to skip this mob. You head to the next pack here, you got a Shadowmoon Loyalist. It doesn't do anything besides auto attack and occasionally cast Sinister Focus, but the Defiled Spirits will teleport behind you and cast Cry of Anguish, so you got to get out of that, otherwise it'll disorient you. You can see it just almost happened to me, but it looked like it did hit that healer. And then you just keep moving forward. You get to these corpse spiderlings, super easy. AoE them down, make your way down. You got about one more trash pack to deal with, and then you're on to Sadana Bloodfury. I'll go ahead and get started on tips for this. She has an ability called Daggerfall, which you're going to see about 3 giant purple spears spawn in the air. You're going to want to watch out for those because they're going to spawn in, hit the ground, and then do AoE in about a 4-yard radius, so stay out of that. Another thing she has is the Whispers of the Darkstar. She channels for about 6 seconds. It does AoE damage to your whole party, so healers be aware of that, and DPS pop, defensives during that time as well. And then when she spawns a spirit throughout Dark Communion, it slowly walks towards her. It's about a 17-second cast. If you let her finish that cast, she will consume it, and it'll give her 10% health and 20% extra damage for 20 seconds. So it is important. Kill the ad as soon as it comes out. You're going to see I failed to do so in this and didn't switch to it right away. But that probably wasn't the reason why we didn't succeed that great. Alright, so I did pop hero on pole. You're going to want to do that on the first boss of pretty much every mythic dungeon. Here comes those dagger falls hitting the ground. I went ahead and tried to get around it in a safe way. If tanks, you want to be aware of the death spike buff from the Voss. Be ready to use active mitigation when your health drops low. Make sure there's a good distance between you and the spirit spawning from the Dark Communion, so that way she doesn't get close to it immediately. Healers, make sure you use your cooldowns during the Whispers of the Darkstar, and top up your party members during the Dark Eclipse. This is the other ability here. She's about to cast Dark Eclipse. You now have to run to one of the white runes in the room, so that way you don't die to it. You can see both of the other melee DPS failed to do so and ended up dying. So now, Whispers of the Darkstar makes it easier for the healer. They don't have as many targets to heal, but ideally you'd have all your DPS up, and then we would have been able to finish this fight a lot faster. But now, I thought we could go ahead and just nuke her down. She had about 17 seconds. There was only about 800k health. I felt that this was a good time to just everyone nuke her. We would have actually probably killed her before she got the cast off. But since they all switched to the ad, we didn't do it. She gets the heal off. Bada bing, bada boom. Again, these are kinds of things when you're running a pug, you're going to have to just kind of expect. Again, you got Dark Eclipse, find a white rune, and the paladin failed again. It's fine. It's early on. I don't, everybody's not going to know the dungeons. I would highly recommend, if you guys don't have Deadly Boss Mods, DBM, install it. It makes so many raids and dungeons so much easier. That's that little voice that you hear in the background calling stuff out. Alright, now let's head to Nhallish. On Nhallish, there's going to be these Shadowmoon Dominators. And as the name suggests, they cast Dominate, which is going to basically mind control one of your players. I think it happens to me here in just a second. Yeah, right there. I ended up getting a whole bunch of dots on me from my teammates. But make sure you try to interrupt the cast or kill that mob as quickly as possible. Once you engage a Shadowmoon Exhumer, it will cast Exhume of the Crypts. It's going to spawn 2 spirits. First and important is to interrupt the Void Bolt. and to make sure you purge and dispel the shield on the exhumed spirits. And those are the spirits right there. And I wasn't purging those because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, whenever you see, like, at least with my Plater, another add-on I have is Plater. You can see how the health bar will have a different color shield, basically informing you that you can, you know, purge or get rid of that buff. And I got one more pack here, and then we're on to the boss. So, before you engage Nhallish, you gotta be aware that there are these little shadowy, you know, crypts on the ground. If you step on them, they will spawn another exhumed spirit. So you want to avoid them at all costs, especially during the boss fight. And you can see, as we walked in, it spawned 2 more adds. So again, slowing us down. We could have definitely gotten this dungeon done a lot faster. So, when Nhallish is casting Planar Shift, use any movement speed abilities to get away from the Void Vortex as quickly as you can. You know, sprints. I use a Wind Fury Totem here pretty shortly. Watch out for this frontal cone. It's a Void Blast. I believe it aims it directly at the tank, so you're going to kind of want to make sure as a tank that you are facing it away from your party. Healer, make sure you top up your party when Soul Steel phase is over. There's the Void Vortex. I popped the Wind Fury, or Wind Rush Totem. And yeah, and as a healer as well, spot heal anyone that is slow to escape from that. And then here you go. You got Soul Shred. Now, this is the soul steal part of the fight. You have to kill the soul and then go grab your soul. I was a little late on that, but once you grab it, bada bing, you're good to go and head back to DPSing the boss. It also gives you a buff for 20 seconds that basically increases all your damage and healing done by 40%. So, yeah, it's pretty huge. And look at that. We ended up stepping on more runes, more adds. Again, it's early on in the expansion. You guys are going to run into this a lot in your pug dungeons. If you're running with a guild, just, you know, communicate beforehand. Have everybody watch these boss guides so that way you guys are aware of where the errors are so you can avoid them yourselves. Alrighty. Now, when you're heading towards Bonemaw, you're going to run into a few different kinds of mobs here. You're going to want to interrupt the necrotic burst ability on the monstrous corpse biters. Right here is more dominators. They're going to try and mind control you, so make sure you interrupt and stun those. The corpse biters, again, make sure you interrupt necrotic burst. Plague backs, you got plague spit. Try and use as many interrupts as you can to stop that as well. And once you get closer to the bridge that leads to Bonemaw, there's going to be 2 carrion worms, which we'll see here in just a moment. But those 2 carrion worms, you're going to want to stack up, kill those, and once you get them to about 20% health, they're actually going to flee, and they're going to end up going and joining the boss fight on Bonemaw, and you'll have to end up fighting them on that fight. So here we got the spiders. You try to interrupt as much as you can, AoE them down. And you can see our group here is doing a great job with the quaking ability this week. There's actually 3 melee, and we are being... So we have 4 people total in melee. The only ranged is the resto healer. And we're doing a great job of spreading out every single quaking. I don't think... At least I don't remember getting hit by a single one in the entire dungeon. Maybe once. But yeah, we did a really good job. So don't let anyone tell you that, you know, a triple melee comp isn't viable. You can play any comp, especially if you're doing lower than 10 keys this first week. And then as we go more and more and longer into the expansion, everybody's going to get more gear. All right. Bonemaw. Throughout the fight, the 2 carrion worms that you fought previously on the bridge, they're going to spawn in at that lower health pool. So you just got to swap to them and go kill them. Make sure you avoid Bonemaw's body slam when you see it. And when he's casting Inhale, you got to make sure you stand inside a corpse breath ground puddle. As you heard DBM just call out, there's a little corpse puddle. Stand in it, and now you won't get sucked in. Pretty simple.
Watch your feet.
Bada bing, and then you step out of it so you don't take any more damage. And tank, make sure you're in a healthy state when the boss is casting Fetid Spit on you, so you don't take any extra damage. Here's the extra worm that pops up. Make sure as a DPS you are paying attention behind you and swapping as soon as you possibly can. Because you can see here, I'm the only one that swapped to this particular worm, but then I do believe they swapped to the other worm.
Inhale, get inside a puddle.
I tried to make sure I finish him off, and then I stepped into this puddle. And I lined myself up to get hit by this puddle as well. And now you step out. Healer, just make sure you top off your party members when they're standing in corpse breath when inhale is happening. And if anybody is accidentally caught in the cast, make sure you spot heal them so they don't get killed in the cast. I believe that is actually going to happen to a few of us on this inhale because of where this corpse is located. I thought I could stand on the close one in DPS, but not the case. He will suck you in even if you're under him like this. You can see me and the tank both got consumed. It doesn't kill you immediately, which is good. You just get thrown in the water, and now you have to use a little jump jet to get back out. So it's not the end of the world if he gets inhaled, but ideally you don't want to because you lose a lot of DPS time. Do all those things and you're good to go. Bonemaw will be dead. Alrighty, now you wrap up Bonemaw, and you're just going to have to deal with a few more trash mobs that you have already seen earlier. I believe we have a spider right up ahead. Yep, so you got a couple bats and a spider. Interrupt as many abilities as you can. If you have a totem, or if you have an enhancement shaman, we have a great ability to be able to knock out any casts. So if they're using a double capacitor totem talent, you essentially get to double stun them. On top of that, you also have your storm ability that can knock them up, and you also have earthquake ability, which can interrupt their spells. So 4 different stuns and interrupts. It's really great. These void spawns, they have a very dangerous cast. The void pulse ability, void eruption, it does a crap ton of damage. Help your healers out, and don't let too many go off. All right, now we're on a Ner'zhul. Make sure you run away from the Omen of Death spawn. It varies based on proximity, but it usually targets ranged. You'll see here in this fight, it targets our healer, I believe, every single time. Make sure you dodge the Malevolence Frontal Cone cast right there. And pre-assign one of those skeletons to kill before the Ritual of Bones cast. This way you have to save time to avoid confusion. So if you're in a group of people, just say, hey, we're going to kill this one. You know, and make sure you mark it immediately if you're a tank. Boom. You can see there's already a skull on this one. I'm already on it. Before anybody's even aware of it, I'm already there. Be quick about it and you'll always get it done nice and fast. As a tank, make sure that you are paying attention as well and moving Ner'zhul to that correct area. There you go, another Malevolence cast, Omen of Death. Boom. Now watch, it's going to target the healer every single time, which stinks. If you're a healer and with triple melee, it's not ideal. And it targets him again. You know, he's trying to get into melee to make it target somebody else, which you shouldn't do as a healer. You should be staying out further away, but there you go. Just take care of Malevolence. Take care of the Wave of Skeletons. It's about to happen again. I here went ahead and jumped on the closest one I could see, but then they ended up deciding to pick a different target. So I did a nice quick swap. Swapped over to him. We had a Quaking during that, and a Shockwave, and the Ritual of Bones. That's a lot of abilities going on at once. Just pay attention, and you'll be good to go. Alrighty. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.